Yeah, do you know what? I've been getting a lot of messages about problems with buy, refurbish, refinance. Everything from down valuations to issues with the type of property or the type of tenant. Service accommodation is notoriously difficult to find a good lender for a buy, refurbish, refinance. And obviously, this one has been more apparent more recently. And the reason is it's to do with the interest rates. When interest rates go up, the stress levels obviously have to increase. And historically on HMOs and service accommodation and portfolio landlords, we've had higher stress tests when it comes to standard buy-to-lets. But obviously it's getting much more difficult. So when you are looking at the deals on buy, refurbish, refinance, you have to be prepared that you're going to get a down valuation, even in this current market, even with things maybe looking a little bit on the up. And also you have to work out what the GDV rent is going to be after the refurbishment, because even though the bricks and mortar value might stack up as it does in this case, the rent just doesn't warrant the value of the loan that you need to pull your money out. And if I'm being brutally honest, a good broker should be doing this with you before you even get the finance on the purchase, or even talking about purchases with cash on how you're going to exit the deal. Now, if you buy with a bridging loan on a specific bridge to let product, you tend to find the lender will release you the cash that you've put into the deal, even if you don't quite meet the stress tests. This is why, even though you've got the cash, you should try and get ahead of the game and still buy with a bridging loan. Now, all said and done, it all boils down to the basic economics of the deal, the maths. You're paying too much for this type of rent. It's as simple as that. And equally, if your rent is higher, but the down valuation is happening, it's because you're overpaying for the property. And the property isn't strong enough for a good buy, refurbish, refinance. Now, I say that not to be cruel, but to be kind, so you really nail the numbers on the next deal. And you aren't going to be the only person. This is going to be for a lot of people. Now, I know you've got the values, and some would argue that paying 320k and spending 25k on a property, it's a pretty good deal at 425. But time you add the stamp duty on that deal, as well as all of your costs, and if you're buying with a bridging loan, interest, that is not a strong enough deal. For me, buy, refurbish, refinance, you need to be looking at least doubling the value of the property for it to be one of those deals where you can pull all of your money out and then some, completely tax-free. And then on the flip side of that, the cash flow needs to be a minimum of £1,000 per calendar month to warrant your time to hold on to the deal. Forget the return on the money left in or the gross yield versus the final value just for a second. Work out what it is going to be worth your time having another property in your portfolio, doing the accounts for that portfolio, managing the tenants if you do that yourself, and all of those different factors. When you then work that out, flipping it onto any money left in, the return on that money left in, you want to be getting all of that money out within a year, either by refinance or by a mixture of the net cash flow from your rental income. And then finally, the gross yield. If you're up there at like 10, 15, 20%, then I think, again, that's a pretty good reason to hang on to the deal, because even though it's not cost you that amount, you are reporting those figures on your balance sheet and your portfolio still looks pretty strong if you ever wanted to sell it off as a large portfolio sale. 1,500 quid a month on a 425 valuation is somewhere around 4 and 5%. Now that is definitely not strong enough as a gross yield. So sorry to be cruel, to be kind. Thank you for all of the lovely comments you give me and the private messages. And hopefully this will now enable you on the next deal. For this deal though, I'm afraid you're gonna have to either find a different type of tenant where you can increase the rent, which will increase your loan amount that you can borrow, which will enable you to hopefully pull a bit more cash out.